Alright people, Mike Salden here again. Welcome back to another video. So the PlayStation Showcase happened and everybody knows Metal Gear is now back. The MGS3 Snake Eater remake has been announced for PS5 along with a HD collection, I guess, for Metal Gear Solid 1, 2 and 3 called the Metal Gear Master Collection Volume 1, implying that there's going to be a Volume 2 which will have 4 Peace Walker and the Phantom Pain, which I'm just playing now to speak over. So yeah, interesting times. We sort of knew this was coming for a good few years now, because the rumour of more Metal Gear, of remakes of Metal Gear, it's all been going around out there. Everybody doubted it for ages because they just kept hearing the same rumour. That it was going to show at this event, it was going to show here, and people started to really doubt it. But I think once the Silent Hill 2 remake was confirmed, it was pretty obvious Metal Gear stuff was going to be coming next, because Silent Hill, even at its most popular, was never the best selling franchise that Konami owned. So if they're going to bring back Silent Hill, it's pretty obvious they're going to bring back Metal Gear after that, because Metal Gear was selling like 60 million copies overall for the entire franchise. Silent Hill must have been on about, I don't know, 15-20 million. That's a generous estimate. It could be lower than that. But the point is, if they're bringing back Silent Hill, they had to be doing Metal Gear next, so I was pretty confident it was going to show up eventually. The fact they've started with 3 to remake 3, and they've actually dropped the number 3 from the title. It's not even called Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, it's just called Metal Gear Solid and then a delta symbol Snake Eater. So they've got the 3, they've taken it out. I guess that's just to let as many new people be able to jump in the Snake Eater as possible, so they don't get intimidated by seeing a number 3 and go and hang on a minute, where's Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 before I play 3. But again, they do have the Metal Gear Master Volume 1 collection, which is going to have those 3 original games there. But I do understand why they've taken the 3 out of the title, just for marketing reasons. The trailer overall, yeah, I'm gonna admit, now that I've thought about it and watched it a few more times, I'm not as hyped as I was at the initial reaction, where, you know, you seen Snake coming out of the darkness and then the Snake Eater theme dropped, and it was like, yeah, that was pretty hype. But looking back at how the trailer was edited, cut together, it doesn't feel very Kojima to me, and I know he's obviously not there at Konami anymore, so of course it's not going to feel anything like his work, but it has left me feeling a bit mixed on this trailer after I've thought about it. Thought about some things Kojima would have probably have done, how the trailer would have been different. He probably would have had Snake speak before the music came in, had Snake do a little cheeky "kept you waiting, huh?" and then the music would have dropped. And I kept thinking about stuff like that and comparing it to what Kojima would have done, so it's taken the hype just down a little bit as I've started to get less excited and tried to be more objective. I just think, okay, stay calm, this is still Konami doing this. We don't know what developer they've chosen. There was a rumour of a team called Virtue or something like that who were doing it. I had not heard of them before. VGC, Video Game Chronicle, Andy Robinson over there, he was the one who said this Virtue or Virtuoso or whatever their damn name was. He's the one that said they were doing it. I don't really know if they have a track record of working on big hyped games like this, but I think a lot of people would have felt better if the blue box, or the Blue Point even, the Blue Point logo had shown up before this or after the Snake Eater trailer, or somewhere in there, because they're pretty well known for doing remakes at this point with Demon Souls, and they also handled the original MGS HD collection back in the day, so they've had experience working on Metal Gear before and they've treated it with respect. So one of the big things I'm waiting on is who's actually developing this. Who is behind it? Is Kojima, is he being consulted in any way? I think that would put my mind at ease for a lot of things if Jim Ryan or whoever in some interviews and of course we've asked Kojima to look over this game, make sure we're not messing it up in any way. He's advising us in a sort of advisory role, even if it's non-official, like they invited him to the studio one day just to have a look at it or something. Although I do think there is quite a big chance that Kojima doesn't even want to look at any of this, and he might even just want to pretend it's not happening, because it was his franchise. It was like a child to him that he raised, and it was snatched away from him, and maybe he is he would be quite upset to see this happening. We're going to have to wait. I don't want to put words in his mouth because he hasn't spoken about it. And we'll have to wait to see. Maybe he'll wish them the best of luck on Twitter in the next few hours after this trailer goes up. Or maybe he'll just ignore it completely and just be like, yeah, anyway, Death Stranding 2, look over here at what I'm actually interested in these days. And we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I would kind of have a lot of my nerves eased if Kojima somewhere, or someone involved with Kojima, was like, yeah, we've had him take a look at the game, just have a quick look over it to make sure we weren't messing with anything too much, and he gives it a thumbs up or something like that. Because again, a lot of people that don't really trust Konami still, and gotta be honest, I don't really trust them that much either. They have to prove themselves that they're not messing around anymore with these franchises. They're off to a bad start in some ways with Silent Hill 2 Remake and selecting Bloober Team to be the ones to remake that game. A lot of people aren't convinced by Bloober Team's back catalogue of games, such as The Medium, which got sort of middling to mixed response in reviews and from gamers as well, really. Just people aren't that convinced that these are the guys who should be touching one of the most beloved horror games of all time. And some people are side-eyeing Konami like, really? You chose these guys? Really, Konami? So again, I need a developer name that's 100% proven who's working on this MGS3 remake before I get too excited about it. But what I am really excited about, what I think's great, whatever way you look at it, is that MGS1, MGS2, and MGS3, the seemingly original versions, are going to come out in some collection for PS5, and it's going to give everyone the opportunity to experience those games, hopefully in their preserved Kojima's entire complete vision of what he originally did, because I don't want any remakes to come out that sort of erase the original. Like if Konami keep the original games delisted from stores and they don't print any more disc copies for the old consoles or whatever, and they just sort of pretend that those original games aren't there and try to replace them with remakes, that would be something I would be against. But since they're bringing the remake out and also bringing the originals along with it, that sort of makes me a lot calmer about the whole thing and more accepting of it. But I do want some more details about that collection if they're going to have a physical release, because I'm still clinging to discs. I love collecting discs and buying a physical game. Don't really buy much digital stuff. So I'm hoping that it's not a digital only collection, and that they put out a full proper a nice little collector's edition of that HD collection or whatever it is. That would be nice to see. And I'm looking forward to playing MGS1 with trophy support. If that happens, I think that would be great. Getting a platinum trophy on MGS1, that would be amazing. But also, for the MGS3 remake, we didn't really see any gameplay. It's just a pre-rendered 2-minute trailer of just the jungle and just teasing that Snake's back, basically. So we need to see some actual gameplay. have they added in the MGS5, the sort of animations and combat from MGS5? Because I am a bit concerned about that, because if you just straight up take the MGS5 control scheme and put it into an MGS3 map, you might have to rework the map a little so that it isn't so the Snake, if he controls with the MGS5 controls, he isn't too overpowered or anything. Because this control scheme for MGS5, it is great. It works really well with this sort of open world game. All the abilities Snake has, like the crouch walk, and being able to get down on the ground and roll, and all that stuff that wasn't in the MGS3 originally. If you do go back and put it into MGS3, are the guards gonna be able to keep up with that? Are they gonna have ways to respond to that? It'll be interesting to see what they do there, if they do just sort of make it more like MGS5 and add in the control scheme from Phantom Pain just in the MGS3. Because I know a lot of people complain about the Twin Snakes, which was the GameCube remake of the original Metal Gear Solid. It took a lot of MGS2's mechanics, like first person aiming and hanging from ledges and stuff. And once you put those controls and those mechanics onto the Shadow Moses map, it sort of broke the game, because the guard placement and the layout of the map, it just wasn't set up to be able to deal with first person view aiming. So you could basically just get the tranquilizer out, stand in one corner of the map, headshot everyone with the tranquilizer gun, and just walk past them all. Boss fights like Ocelot, you could just stand completely still, go into first person view mode, and just keep tranking him straight into the head, and he couldn't move or do anything, and it just sort of broke the game in many ways. So it is something you have to consider when you're remaking a game. If you're gonna insert the sort of more modern controls and systems into that map, you might have to rework the map a little so that it's balanced, and that you don't end up with a Twin Snakes situation where you've sort of broken the map because the abilities the player now has are too advanced for the map. So yeah, I'm interested to see if they keep it linear and a smaller map the way MGS3 was originally, or if they're gonna make it expand it out, make little like sort of sandbox open worldy sections where Snake gets sent in, and it's a bit more of an open world. You can enter bases from like a load of different angles or something. Part of that does really excite me, the idea of that, but also they could mess it up really easily if they just like add a lot of empty space just for the sake of making it open world. Another thing people are going to be concerned about or wondering about is David Hayter. Is he back as Snake, or what is the voice cast situation? Are they just using all the previously recorded audio for the voices? I don't know how well it would update if you sort of remake everything else and you don't redo the voices. But how many of the original cast will be back? Will Hayter be there? Have they replaced him? Have they replaced everyone? That is going to be a big make or break moment for a lot of people, is if they mess with the original voice cast. Because again, the Twin Snakes, it sort of set the precedent where they did bring back most of the original cast. Some people couldn't be got back, so they had to be replaced. But they did change a lot of the people's their delivery of their lines. They changed some of the accents, and a lot of people they still prefer the PS1 voice acting. They think everybody sounded more lively and more in character, and I would have to agree with that. The original recording of the voice acting for MGS1 on the PS1 is the way to go if you're worried about the voice acting. Though some people did like that the accents were removed because they were a bit silly or whatever, but I don't know, I thought they added charm to the game. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see. But yeah, interesting times. Metal Gear's back, and we're just gonna have to see what happens with it. Alright, people, thanks for watching, and see you again next time with another video.